Hello, dear ones. It's a rock and roll period of time. This is your eclipse update for the solar eclipse, April 30th, 2022, the first eclipse in this new series of eclipse in Aries and in Libra. It's an exciting time. It's a stressful time. It's a time full of a lot of change. Get your sea legs on. Things are rocking and rolling. You're already feeling it. There's things coming up from your past. There's a desire for deeper clarity. There are wounds that have surfaced and things that you know that you need to reorganize, and you wish you had already figured it out. But the truth is, it has yet to be time to figure it out. So be patient with yourself, be easy with yourself. Over the next few days, things are going to be shifting and changing your course. Hi, I'm Prema Gurreri, Vedic Astrologer and Business Oracle, and welcome to Chart Your Path. So glad that you're here. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. It helps to get the word out, and hit the bell notification so that you know when I've posted the next video, and I do post videos weekly. Down below in the description, you'll find the link to my free activation, Aligned Power from the Inside Out, also the Sacred Wealth Code Archetype quiz. There's free resources for you down there, and also the links to all the ways that you can work deeper with me. This is an incredibly important time in the paradigm shift that we're in. With the nodes of the moon having just moved into Aries and Libra, a new placement of rebirth, regeneration, new pathways, individuation, our own leadership, our own personal mission, and the juxtaposed position of relationships and how we come together socially and what we're willing to compromise and how we want to be in our relationships, and whether it's worth that energetic exchange of being with people or being alone. So that's the overarching theme of Aries and of Libra. But this solar eclipse is happening in Aries. It is a partial solar eclipse, but it's very, very important. This is a quantum shift. It's happening in the nakshatra of Bharani, and it is not visible in the northern hemisphere, just visible really in Antarctica, a bit of South America, but it's still incredibly important for us. So this is new beginnings and bringing in something very new. Aries is the beginning of the zodiac, and with this placement, it's a very fertile place for giving birth. Because it's the first eclipse in this new pattern, it's like we've been feeling the anticipation and the vibrations of this for this whole week, and we will feel it for a while longer. In fact, then we'll have a lunar eclipse on May 15th. So we're feeling this, and there's things coming up from the past. There's that anticipation of what's next, and also what you think you should be doing, or you're wondering what you shouldn't be doing. And there's that desire for deeper clarity. Things have not crystallized yet. That's not where your soul is at in this journey with this eclipse energy that we have. Remember that eclipses are points in the ecliptic. They're the nodes of the moon. There's the north node, the magician, and the south node, the mystic, and they have the power to block the sun and the moon, the power to block the soul and the consciousness. And so it's a very powerful shadow period of time. Now, there is an importance to this, and important to this shadow period of time, because the nodes of the moon, they agitate two different areas of life. Now, that's going to hit you personally in your soul blueprint. So you want to know what that is, Libra and Aries for you. But that is going to agitate these areas so that you're willing to grow. You're willing to release what you need to, open up to what's next. So we're not just always living at the status quo. The nodes of the moon are what are the soul's way of, the cosmos's way of waking us up on a soul level to stretch and grow, release. The magician is all about evolution, energy into form. Involution, energy into form. And the mystic in the south node of the moon is all about evolution, form, breaking down into energy so then we can recreate again. So this is an incredibly significant eclipse. Your mind and your soul are, like I said, are feeling it. There's some agitation, some anticipation, and your purpose and your vision and your direction are going to be changed. Now, with a solar eclipses are more potent than a lunar eclipse. And the change in direction will be like you are going down the road and then all of a sudden you hit a Y turn and you've taken off to one direction. You didn't maybe notice it, but as the next 3, 4, 5 months go by, you're going to start to really notice, I am on a new path. So we want to right now be detached to the path that we're on in how we navigate the path, but absolutely committed to the path that we're on, because at a purpose level, at a vision and a purpose level, and the mission that you're here for. But it's unsettling. It's unsettling when the boat rocks. You've got to keep your sea legs on and be willing to go where the flow is as long as it aligns with what your true purpose is. So this is a shift in direction. And the magician, the north node of the moon, is the head of the serpent, the head of the naga, where the south node of the moon, the mystic, is the tail. We'll talk about that more as we come to the lunar eclipse on May 15th. But this is the north node of the moon can be very psychological, very attached to the material world, and can make you intoxicated with things. And the more we're intoxicated, the more things get complicated. So watch for where you're having tunnel vision, because it disrupts the balance of your whole psyche and of your life. So be aware of that. Now, this time can be very confusing, but there's a hidden power here. Again, this has the power to really shift you back onto shift you forward onto the next level of your path. But it takes an immense amount of surrender. It's not time to do something, it's time to pause. And in fact, you don't want to do anything important on the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, those days right around the eclipse. And it'll feel a little murky all the way from the 29th of April until the 16th of May, as far as getting all the way through the eclipse season. We want to be able to listen in and hear those deeper impulses of our soul. You might be seeing some power struggles within yourself, within the world. Aries can be like that. So just notice these things, but try not to act on them so much. Aries being all about new beginnings, a new start, birthing what's new. And, again, it'll affect you collectively in the ways that I'm talking about, and then individually it'll play out in a certain house in a certain area of your soul blueprint, depending on what Aries represents for you, whether it's career, whether it's wealth, whether it's your divine purpose, whether it's the fulfillment of your desires and relationships. It's happening in the nakshatra, the lunar mansion of Bharani. Now, Bharani is represented by the womb, by the yoni. It is a place of union of masculine and feminine energy, and is a conduit for creative potential, really a channel for artistic gifts and talents. And because of Bharani's connection to Venus, it has that, like I said, that creative, procreative energy. It's also ruled by Lord Yama. Yama guides the soul to the astral plane, where it can experience the results of the soul's karma from the present. This is really powerful. And be able to prepare yourself for what's to come. And Yama also refers to the yogic practices, pranayama, the hatha yoga, meditation, because these practices help us to pull away from the world and restrain in a way that we can open up to more of our spiritual side. We can hear and see and sense beyond the veil. So you're going to want to give yourself time around this eclipse, during and around the eclipse, to pause, to surrender, for meditation, for those long walks in nature, to be able to open up to what is possible to come through the veil during this time. So It's not a time to hustle and grind. I always say to keep things as simple as you can in eclipse season, because the unexpected is going to be showing up. And we want to have the bandwidth for the unexpected and also have the time to pull in and not do so much, to where we can then be very perceptive. So this is a little unnerving in the way it feels, that anticipation, that angst of wanting to know what's next. Also, some people are really feeling a lot of struggles at this current time and around this time. And so there's people who really do need your support, our collective prayers or specific prayers. So make yourself available for that. And that's another reason to keep space during this time, because these things hit people differently and we're all in this together. So simplify. There's something opening up for you, then you can feel it, and also something falling away. And that clarity that's not quite dialed in yet, I want you to take your hand off the dial and quit trying to dial it in. I get it. I have had to tie my hands behind my back. There's things I want to really have some crystal clear clarity on, and it is coming, and I'm very aware that it's coming, but that human part of me wants to do it, figure it out. More meditation, more dance, more chanting, more pulling away from this world and giving my heart, my soul, your soul, a sense of spaciousness, okay? Because, what you're doing may not feel like it's really got the juice and that sort of the power, the prana behind it, your juiciness behind it. And that means you're not 100% in. And there's two things that can be happening here. One, maybe you're not 100% in because it's not really yours to do. It's not aligned with your purpose, your mission, your vision. Number two, it is aligned, and how you're going about it is not an even energy exchange. I was talking to a dear friend about this today. It's not an even energy exchange. And when you're feeling that and you're putting out more energetic currency, whether it's money, time, just your love, your compassion, your wisdom, and there's not a reciprocating energy for that, you are going to feel depleted. And we are simply not in a time where there's a lot of space for feeling depleted, especially for you, because you are on the leading edge. You are part of the paradigm shift. You chose to be here. So whether you're in a deep amount of struggle right now, or you're flying high and you have too many opportunities and it's hard to discern which one, you can be on any end of that spectrum. You are part of the change. You are part of the up level. You are part of the awakening, the ascension, part of stepping into the higher frequency and helping us all to evolve in that direction. Your choices matter. Okay. So there is an energy of you need to be aware of let me put it this way. You are probably being distracted by what you've achieved and what you haven't. Okay, this is weighing yourself against the world. And the magician's doing this. Remember, the north node of the moon is part of, and that's where the solar eclipse is, part of the world. And so it's not time to compare yourself, but it's coming to the forefront of your awareness, the sort of measuring up energy. And some of us are feeling it really strong. I was just talking about that a bit. Now, remember, you're on an evolutionary journey. You're evolving, you're awakening over time. It's an evolutionary journey of awakening, then integration, and then fully into embodiment. Embodiment is the final frontier, where you take the wisdom of your soul, and you live that and integrate that all the way through your body, so that you're walking that with the soles of your feet. Not for the faint at heart, and not an easy process, and we do it one step at a time. You have to be very aware and careful of the driving force that's underneath what you are going to do next, basically. If it's not connected to your soul purpose and aligned with your soul blueprint, then you'll find yourself in a few months from now, when you've taken that wide turn and you realize you're on a different path, wondering why you chose this new direction. There's a lot of shiny objects out there and a lot of distractions. That's part of what the magician does, the north node of the moon. And you have to be able to discern which are yours and which are not. That's why you don't make any decisions during the eclipse time. And when you start to make decisions after that, you weigh them against your vision, your purpose, what you know about your soul blueprint to find out, is this for me or is this not for me? Very, very important. In order to drop into this energy, you want to have an immense amount of compassion for yourself and for the world this particular period of time as we birth into what's next, which means there is going to be some things that slough off, and that you take that time to deepen, to contemplate, to journal, to dive into meditation, to ask your beautiful heart, because your heart knows the way. That's the direct connect to your soul, and ask to be shown the new pathway, but not to jump into action right away. And that's the hardest part, and especially with Aries. So give yourself a timeline of, at least a couple days after the eclipse before you jump into anything new. Weigh it against your greater purpose and vision. And if you don't know what that is, then you want to get very clear about what your purpose and mission is, okay? And also, with not making those big decisions during this stormy period of time, it's a good time then, like, what do I do? Well, journal about it. Again, meditate about it without needing to know the end result. More so, stay in process, okay? We do have an incredibly auspicious day coming on May 2nd and 3rd. And a couple other things I want to tell you about before we close this out. So on May 2nd at about 5 p.m. Pacific time to the same time on May 3rd, there is an incredibly important day that's called Akshaya Tritiya. And it's an auspicious day astrologically. It's the brightest day because both of the luminaries, the sun and the moon, are exalted on that day. And there is no malefic aspects. So it's a good day to make a decision. It's a good day to do something new. It's a good day to invest in a big investment. So mark that on your calendar. That's a bright and shiny day for us all to take great advantage of. Meanwhile, Saturn has moved into Aquarius, and this is bringing us together on our social ideals. I'll talk about that more in the May update coming, but Saturn's also throwing its aspect onto this eclipse, so there's some restraint involved. Saturn wants us to slow it down and wants us to, wants to not jump into things where Aries wants to jump into things. And then also Venus and Jupiter are aligned on this day in Pisces on the day of the eclipse. And it's technically a Graha Yuddha, a planetary war, where these two great planets, they are benefics of two different aspects of friendship planets in Vedic astrology, and Venus being of our desires and Jupiter being of the higher vision. And there is they're just when they're aligned like this on an exact alignment, they do clash a bit. So you might find that, yes, there's that vision as I talked about and dropping into that, but I want. So there's the desires and the visions, and that's why you want to just take a breath and just commit to not making any big decisions. You might just list out your desires, list out, what you know about your vision, and you can then match up how they match together. But if you let this wave go past, it's going to become much more clear for you. There could also be tension in relationships during this eclipse time. So to recap for a moment, you're going to take time for yourself. You're going to keep things very simple. You're going to open up to your soul, to your heart, surrender, be compassionate. A time for self-nurturing during this time. Clarity is coming. You'll remember that, and you're going to have some restraint about acting too quickly on anything and holding off for that auspicious day and beyond this eclipse that's coming. So whatever's coming up for you as we've been talking about this day, I'd love to hear your comments down below on what you're dealing with during this. What are you feeling you need clarity on during this eclipse time? And if you're wanting to dive in deeper to your own soul blueprint with me, I do private consultations. I have all the links to my readings are down below. And if you are wanting to step into a deeper level of mentorship to really create your life, create your work in the world, your business, buy your soul blueprint and your unique gifts and open up to the wealth in your life, in your world that's really uniquely wired for you, but do it in a way of complete alignment and moving past your blocks and barriers, as well as opening up to the next level of your gifts and being seen for those in the world and being that leader you are in this paradigm shift that we're in. And then you'll want to book a call with me so we can talk about my Solutionary Blueprint program. So if this is resonating for you, I look forward to connecting with you. And I thank you so much for being here. Feel free to like and subscribe and share this around. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.